My name is Nicholas Oliver. I serve as the Executive Director of the Rhode Island Partnership for Home Care. My organization represents home care, home nursing care, and hospice providers licensed by the Rhode Island Department of Health to provide health care services at home. I want to thank you for the opportunity to testify in opposition, and if I can, testify on both the Raptakis and the Lynch bill at the same time. My talking points are similar. Senate 272 would result in a 5.55% increase over the newly enacted minimum wage increase 3 months ago, and 194 proposes an increase of 12.23%. While it's not my organization's intent to impose any minimum wage increase itself, home health care and hospice providers are in the unfortunate position of not having an adequate Medicaid fee-for-service rate increase since 2002. What is our intention is to establish financial stability for home health care providers participating in the state's Medicaid program and ensure access to quality home health care services for Medicaid beneficiaries. Medicaid home and community-based service rates have been frozen for the past 7 consecutive fiscal years. However, much of that last rate increase in 2008 was rescinded the following fiscal year due to state budget constraints. So what we're really talking about is 13 years since a rate increase by a rate-setting body, you, the members of the General Assembly. Governor Raimondo, in her initial FY16 budget, proposed yet another rate freeze to make this a 14th consecutive year. Since 2002, the minimum wage has increased 6 times, and this bill proposes a 7th, both bills. At that time, in 2002, the minimum wage was $6.15 an hour, while the wages increased to 46.33%. Medicaid home care services were left behind. It would be disrespectful for me to ask the members of this committee if you're still affordably living on wages that you earned in 2002, but that's just what the General Assembly is requiring Medicaid home health care providers and their staff to do. Many of our direct care staff, CNAs, and homemakers are earning wages at or slightly above the current minimum wage. At current reimbursement rates, we cannot afford to provide them a wage that is adequate, let alone competitive to their counterparts in nursing homes and hospitals that have received increases by the General Assembly almost every year. Why would someone work at minimum wage in a position that requires licensing by the Department of Health, continuing education to maintain that licensure, perform services that include toileting, bathing, and feeding patients at the same wage as someone working in retail or hospitality? The job market is responding with a resounding no, as many provider agencies are having difficulty hiring and maintaining direct care staff to fill the growing need for these services by Medicaid beneficiaries, especially for those that live outside the Providence-Warwick area of communities, and such as Woonsocket, South County, and Block-McKinnick Islands. The Rhode Island Partnership for Home Care believes that all home health care workers should have the same wages and benefits competitive of their peers throughout the healthcare sector. In addition, we believe that they should have the same access to quality health care that they provide every day in each Rhode Island community. None of this is plausible under the current Medicaid fee-for-service reimbursement rates for home health care services. If a minimum wage increase is not then tied to a fee-for-service rate increase at a minimum to an equal percentage, access to quality health care services in the home will diminish in Rhode Island, and increase in unemployed direct care workers will result, which is counter to our state's efforts to rebalance our long-term health care system and our efforts to grow and maintain middle-class jobs, such as those providing direct home health care, of which many are held by women, minorities, and single parents. Please do not approve Senate 194-272 without first increasing Medicaid fee-for-service rates to the same percentage, whichever proposed minimum wage increase is selected by the Senate leadership. Because of this, the Rhode Island Partnership for Home Care respectfully requests that this bill have a fiscal note attached to it and proposes that the bill be transferred to the Senate Finance Committee. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to testify on this bill on behalf of the home health care hospice community, and particularly our staff that have not received an increase by the General Assembly since fiscal year 2002. Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you.